Hello everyone, I'd like to thank you for joining me today for this CODESOFT 2012 training webinar. Today what we'll be covering is the process involved with creating the new voice pick code regulation that's found as part of the Produce Traceability Initiative, an initiative that's based around tracking and tracing any produce items from the field all the way to the fork. Now, the sudden demand for voice pick codes does stem from a recent requirement implemented by um, a major retailer. What we have on screen right now is an example of the Walmart crate label or carton label that was requested and is going to be required as of, really required as of November of 2013, really mandatory by the 1st of 2014. Now, the voice pick code is what you see in the bottom right-hand corner of this label. It's that 0057 with a white on black background. This is the specific requirement of voice pick codes. A voice pick code is actually an automatic calculation based on 3 pieces of information, which we'll cover in a second here. But what we're really going to be focusing on is how we can create this um, 4-digit, 2 different size, um, white on black background voice pick code. Okay. So again, this is just an example of a a Walmart sample label, but I'm going to go ahead and bring up a new label here so that we can start from scratch and really cover the important steps involved with creating this voice pick code. So just going to do a new label here. And it's just asking me questions about the label that I want to create. You know what? I'm going to leave it that way and maybe just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so a voice pick code is an auto-calculated, auto-generated number. I shouldn't say it's usually not auto-generated. It's a number that's calculated based on a relatively complex formula called a CRC16. A CRC16 number is generated from 3 different pieces of information. The first piece of information, I'm sorry, in this case, the CRC16 is pulled from 3 different pieces of information. The first is a GTIN, or a global trade item number. This would be a number that's generated or assigned to a product for a vendor by the GS1 US standard organization. In addition to that, there would be something like a lot number, and then a pack date if it's present. Those 3 pieces of information are brought together into a specific calculation and result in a 16-digit number. Now, the voice pick code is actually just the last 4 digits of that CRC16 calculation. Now, in order to obviously generate this, you will need those 3 pieces of information, and the CODESOFT and LABELVIEW software actually are the only label designers on the market right now that will actually perform this calculation for you. So as long as you have those three pieces of information, it will generate the code for you. Okay, so obviously, if we want to create this voice pick code, the first thing we're going to have to do is create 3 variables, or either variables or constant information. So what I'll do is I will use one printed field to get my GTIN number. I'll call it GTIN, and then I'll give it a value of how many digits? I think it's 13. I want to say it's 13 digits. Let me double check that over here. Looks like it's actually 14 digits. Yeah, it looks like it's actually 14. So, oh, is that right? Yeah, Here, tell you what, we'll just copy the value from this label so we know we're accurate. All right. So we've got a GTIN number, and then we're going to need a lot number as well. So we're going to create another one, and we'll call it lot. And I think we only need like 4 or 6 for the lot number. Let's take a look here. Lot number, oh, looks like we're looking at about 10. So where's my lot number? Copy that lot number. And then lastly, we're going to need a date. Now, specifically the date is supposed to be pulled in a specific format. Now, let me double check what that format is. Voice pick date actually is year, month, day. So we need to actually generate a date in the year, month, day format. Now you could just create another when printed field and you could type in your date, or you could use an actual variable in the software to automatically pull whatever the current date is. So I'm going to use a date. I'll just do a new date here. And since I need a specific format of year, month, day, I'm just going to do type year, month, day. Okay, and you can see down here it's giving me 13/07/11. That happens to be today's date. So I now have my 6-digit date in the format that a voice pick code requires. Okay, just gonna hit OK, and now we've got our GTIN, our lot number, and our date stamp. Okay, now in order to use a voice pick code, we have to use what's known as a voice pick formula. All right, the voice pick formula, where do we have a copy of that? Okay, now the voice pick code consists of this stretch right here. Okay, it's voice code, then the GTIN number, a comma, lot number, a comma, and then the date stamp. Okay, so we're going to come back over here and do a formula. We're going to right click on formula and go to add. And we're going to come down and we're going to find under, I think it's conversion. Is it under conversion? There it is. Yep, voice code. You can see here voice code, GTIN, lot number, date. That's how it has to be populated. If we just select it and hit insert, you're going to see it pops it up in here, but we need to populate the information that we need. So we've got GTIN. I can come down here and go to data sources and find my GTIN variable. It's right there. You can see GTIN. If I click on it and hit insert, it's going to replace that with the variable GTIN. Same thing with the lot number, and then the same thing with the date. Okay. Once we've got all that information in there, I can hit test, and you can see it gives us our 4-digit number, 0057. Okay. It's as simple as that. You need the 3 pieces of information, then you need to create a formula that generates the 4-digit number based on the GTIN, the lot number, and the date stamp. Now, in my particular case, I did create when printed fields for GTIN and lot, and then used a date stamp to generate the date. But these can be any type of formula or any type of variable. It could be a database. It could be a table lookup. It could even be, your lot number could be a counter. Whatever it might be, you can you simply have to reference that variable in the appropriate position here. Okay. Now, this is where we're 99% of the way here. We've got our value. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm actually going to rename this, and I'll call it voice code. Okay. So I can take my voice code and I can drag it over here and drop it as text, and there we go. We've got our 4-digit number. Now, this is where we need to start looking at how it appears on the label. We've got the value, we just need to format it in the way that we need. And you'll notice if I switch back to the sample label here, you can see there's 2 digits at the beginning that are small and 2 digits at the end that are big. Well, that's what we need to do now, is we need to be able to split this out and get the first part and get the second part. Okay, and then we can put those on the label as a small number and as a big number. And that again is going to be two separate formulas. Okay, so I'm going to do again a right-click add for a formula, and I'll call it voice code right. All right, so I'm taking the right two characters, that'd be just the 5-7. So what I'm going to do is a write function. Okay, you can either type write, or if I want to, I can go to text and look for write. Where is it? Right there. Okay, you can see here the nice description, write string number. Okay, it returns the number of characters in the string starting from the right. Okay, so if I hit insert, the string I want to pull from is going to be my, where is it, data source for my voice code. Okay, so I want to pull from the voice code the right two characters. So I can type 2. It's going to pull just the right two characters from voice code. Hit test, you see I get just 5-7. All right. So great, that's what we need for the right two. We got to do the exact same thing, but do it for the left. So add another one. I'll call it voice code left. And then it's the same basic concept. Left, insert, string, voice code, insert, and 2. Test it, I get the 0, 0. All right, great. So we've got all the components we need now. Now the only part left is adding it to the label. And this is a process that actually varies based on the printer that you have. Okay, but there is a way that you can do it regardless of the type of printer you have. Currently, I have an IP300 printer selected. You know, I can show you the process for this particular printer, but I will also show you the process that will hold true for any printer that you decide to use. Okay. Now, if we switch back here to the sample, you see that there is a big black box, and then inside it there's the white 00 and the white 5-7, the two pieces of information that we need to be inverse. Okay, so we're going to start off with a black box. So I'm just going to click and drag to make a black box. Oops, I don't need it quite that big. Click and drag to make a black box. And then I'm going to have to come in here and make the background black too. There, we got ourselves a black box. Right, from there we need the left portion and we need the right portion. Okay, and this is where we need to make the two different sizes. So you know what, 10 might be okay, I'll make it 12. And then for this I got to make this significantly bigger, so I'll make it something like 36. All right, so there's the two different numbers that we need. What we need now is for them to be on the black. Now you notice, well, there's a problem. It doesn't really show up. I need it to be inverse. And you might think, okay, well, what I can do is I could come into the text here and I could set it to be a white foreground color and a black background color. Okay, good. That's good. Still doesn't work. Okay, so you can't do something quite that simple. Now, a lot of printers, depending on the printer, have a setting that's known as reverse overlaid objects. Now, if I were to come into this particular printer, you'll notice that even under these settings, I don't actually have, oh, I do have a black-white reverse. Okay, so if you come into the printer settings here, you might find an option for black-white reversed. Okay, and if I choose that and hit OK, when I drag, it's supposed to be whenever I drag that over, it reverses it because it isn't an inverse color. But you notice even though I did that, it's still not working for me. So what I do need to do, if that doesn't work for you, or if you don't have that option, that's kind of more often the case, is that you don't even have that option. Now, if that does occur, what you can do is right-click on your label and go to Document Properties. Now, if you have a specific name for your label, it will be whatever the label's name is, and then Properties. Okay, when you go into that, there is an Extended option here. Under Extended, there's an option that says Windows Graphical Emulation. What this means is that it's going to basically flatten the image and make it holographic. Now, in some cases, this isn't all that great because it can't send it down in printer resident form. It has to send it down as a graphic. The problem is that we have to send it down this way if the printer doesn't support the process of doing an inverse white on black format. So if we select this option, it's going to say, we're going to switch this to be all graphic. I'll print, except it does say printer texts and barcodes will still be able to be sent down that way. So that's a good thing. We're going to hit OK. Hit OK. Now, you notice if I drag it over now, we still have the black background. I'm sorry, the white background and the black text. So what we need to do is, like we did before, come in here and switch it so it's a white foreground and a black background. When we do that, we can then drag it on to the box. Do the same thing over here. White foreground, black background. Drag it onto the box. And there we go. We've got our voice pick code generated with the two different formats two different sizes that we need. So it's a couple step process to do this, but it's not really complex. It's the important aspects to remember is that the voice pick code is dependent on three components: the GTIN number, the lot number, and then a date stamp. And specifically, the date stamp is supposed to be in a format of year, month, day. Okay. From there, we want to create a formula that calculates the voice code. Now, remember, it's as simple as just saying voice code, open parentheses, GTIN, comma, lot, comma, date. Whatever those variable names are, you just populate them in there, and that's all you need. Okay. From there, we have the 4-digit number that we need, and we need to extract out just the left side and just the right side. And when we do that, we use formulas again, left voice code 2, and then another one for the right that says right voice code 2. Now again, voice code is the name of this variable. So I'm taking the left portion of this variable and the right portion of this variable. So, but that is how we separate it out into two sections. From there, we can then put it on the label and size them in the different formats that we need. And as a whole, the important part is going to be going to the document's properties, getting to this extended tab, and making sure that you have this Windows graphical emulation option checked. And that's only necessary if you go to overlap text and you notice it's not inverting. Some printers will do that automatically. So, but that's it. Once you have that, obviously we don't need this. You can go on from there and create anything else you need. This is a GS1 128 barcode that there's also a formula for that a lot of these voice pick labels actually need this GS1 128 barcode as well. There is a formula that's dedicated for that right under here. It says GS1 Wizards. You can follow that, and again, the wizard walks you through and says, can I have the GTIN number? Can I have the lot number? And so on and so forth, and it automatically generates that barcode for you. But that's actually relatively straightforward, a wizard that walks through it for you. For the voice pick code, there's a couple steps here, and we just wanted to make sure that that was clear for everyone. The GTIN, the lot, the date, using the voice code formula, and then extracting out the data. So, all right, great. Well, again, if you want, there is usually, I should say, there is a sample of this Walmart voice pick label that's available for download on our website. It's actually a little bit different than this because this one was designed as a 2.5-inch tall label, but Walmart standard actually defines a 2-inch label, so it was compressed a little bit. But the components are all there, and the label on the website is correct at the 2-inch height label. And it will have all of the configuration for this. So if you wanted to, you could just go use that sample label. That'll get you 99% of the way there. Otherwise, if you need to build it in whatever format you require, you can just follow the steps that we covered in this webinar here, and it will get you through and cover all of those aspects. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you got a better understanding of exactly how to create these voice pick codes. Thank you everyone for joining me today. You have a wonderful day.